You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey, this is Mog and Mel, and you're watching SketchUp on The Experience. Today we have a special guest. His name is Don Walker, and hopefully he will get here. Mog will be drawing. What are you drawing today, Mog?
I am drawing Ewok with Grogu and his
little pet frog. So this will be up for auction. Starting bid on this is $100, and we'll take it in increments of $5, right? So you'll have a chance to win this at the end of the show. If you are that lucky, you could win this. All right, and we will be right back. Welcome back again. This is Mog and Mel on SketchUp, and you're watching us on The Experience. We come on every Thursday at 7 o'clock, so hopefully you'll be able to join us. Welcome, Stevie B.
Yeah.
And who else do we have here? Gibbs Guy Sepp. Welcome.
Gibbs guys.
welcome for joining us. And
a juicy one.
We're still waiting for our special guest to come here, but Mog is drawing this cute little Ewok, Grogu,
it's adorable,
and a frog. And
he's protecting Grogu.
Yeah, so she's
little guy.
Got a little story going on here.
But anyway, today we're supposed to have Don Walker.
Right. We're still waiting for him to come up. Not sure what's going on there, but we're gonna go ahead and continue with the show anyway.
Yeah.
And
it's called JD roasting time. Not just kidding.
Roast away. I'm a willing subject.
Okay, so before the backstage, what were you guys talking about?
About his question of his pure soul.
I just like.
His choice
I just don't like entertainment that exploits people. I just think that's wrong.
Wow, you're so pure. I like it.
So what kind of pure shows were you talking about?
We were talking about things that kind of upset me, like The Biggest Loser or Squid Game or stuff like that, where it's like really kind of dark and
dehumanizing things.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So what kind of shows do you like then?
We were just talking about what was it, Lockwood and Co. On Netflix. Both thought it was.
Yeah, I did like that. A very intriguing show. Kept you a little bit on the edge of your seat. Hopefully they will do the second season. Not sure if they've confirmed it yet.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty standard, YA love triangle kind of genre story, but just the world that they built, it's just so slightly different from ours that it's like
technology hasn't advanced as far as ours. So I think they still have like the rotary phones.
It was all went backwards. A great event happened, and then like the ghosts and everything like start to disrupt reality, and maybe some of the electromagnetic wave is disrupting I mean, this is just a theory, but yes.
No, they have electricity, so I don't think that would like stop them.
But I think the opening kind of says that because of like the ghost attacks, that investment in tech kind of just stopped. Okay. The only tech they were interested in was how to stop ghosts.
I see. So they had to use the resources to try and combat that. Yeah, because there's a lot of what do you call those guys? Ghost fighters away or whatever, in different schools and factions.
And these children.
And they're using children because they seem to be more open to the supernatural, or be able to sense them easier than adults. Yeah, so that was,
in a way, it's kind of a dehumanizing world, sort of like Squid Game, but instead of focusing on that, you focus on the relationships that they're building, despite how dark the world they live in is. I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so if you like not dehumanizing things, maybe you like shows like Love is Blind or was it Married at First Sight?
Well, those could be dehumanizing as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It's about love.
Yeah.
I mean, I just look at all the reality shows like really, really poorly written narrative shows because that's what they are. There's writers who work on those shows trying to emphasize the most amount of drama in their relationships, and I mean, it's not real. It's entertainment. That's fine. If you like watching it and you find it entertaining, I don't say that you shouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I just, it's not, the interactions that you're seeing are as, scripted as anything you would see on a narrative television show.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Don. There.
Okay.
He's saved by the dawn. I
Oh
think.
my God, JD, you're so lucky today.
I think he's still setting up here.
Yeah.
So I will bring him on as soon as he looks like he's ready.
Okay.
I'm just enjoying the angry Ewok.
Yeah, it's so adorable.
That reminds me of Joe.
Ewok, it's so adorable.
I stayed up all night to see the sun, and then it dawned on me.
Oh yeah, talk about the last episode of was it The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Oh, are you enjoying Last of Us? Even though it's a bit, well, it's a dystopia, but it has hope.
To me, it's the typical apocalypse.
Oh, hello, Robin.
So.
Hello, Robin.
I'm just watching it for the entertainment value.
We're talking about Last of Us.
It can give me.
I like the mermaid one. Algebra. What does a mermaid wear?
Algebra.
Algebra.
Stevie B was talking about he hasn't seen Lockwood and Co, but he's really enjoyed Wednesday on Netflix.
Yeah, Wednesday. I actually liked Wednesday as well. But then I'm easily entertained. But I did like I did like Wednesday, and I'm glad that they're doing that.
Yeah, I find it's a problem talking about pop culture in this age. Is like I like most things, but I don't like go crazy. And it seems like that's the only thing you can do on the internet. It's like you have to absolutely love something, or you have to just wish it to the nine hells.
Yeah.
And for me, it's because I've watched so much. I'm an older guy, and so a lot of things are just things that are rehashed, or sequels, extensions of, and there's not too much. I mean, okay, look at the thing for Wednesday, right? She's going to a school, right? How many series do we have out there that's about the characters going in a school and having to navigate through all that?
Oh my God.
Well,
including the world that they live in.
Problem is a very time in our lives, and it's easy to come up with storylines that might be have a lot of drama in them. And well, if you harken back to that age, you might remember feeling a lot more strongly about things than you do now.
Yeah.
And like everything was a emergency and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Emergency,
oh my God.
St. Elmo's fire. What was the New York cop show? The Blue Shield.
Blue Shield.
Things like that. Yeah. And take that from the 70s when we had all these detective shows.
I like the detective shows.
And the 60s had the westerns.
See, 90s kind of had detective shows too, but it was all like CSIs and NCISs, and it was more about the the technology.
Yeah, CSI, NCIS, they dominated.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had several
spin-offs.
It was cool.
I watched an episode of NCIS lately, and they have no one left from the original lineup. It's like McGee is the only one that's still there. Everybody else has all the other characters and actors have changed.
Yeah, I agree with you, Stevie B. Pascal looks like a 70s Burt Reynolds. He does have that 70s look to him. Every time I see him, he's like he feels like a throwback.
Okay, do you find Stevie? Do you find Pascal attractive? Because I don't understand why people think he's attractive.
No, it's beauty's in the eye. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Mog. You know, so
that's true.
And well, there's a lot to be said about a Spanish accent.
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or any accent to me, outside of English sounds really great to me. So
not certain.
I'm intrigued.
There's certain ones that are really.
I had a Mexican roommate a few years ago, and he told me, like, even among Spanish speakers, there are some Spanish accents that are considered sexier. That, like, all the, most Spanish people think that a Colombian accent is super sexy, even when they're speaking Spanish.
Oh yeah, because they all have their different accents and things like that. So yeah, I would have to agree with that.
You might want to check in.
But yeah.
You might want to check in with Don. He was there for a second, and I think he was having trouble with the technology, and then he disappeared.
All right, let me try and do that while Mog keeps you company.
Oh no! Hey JD, let's get drunk then.
Oh wait, okay. Let's see what I got here on the table. I got some Laird's Apple Brandy, single cask, cask strength. 64% alcohol, so I get to start drinking that if you like. I got some whiskey and some rum here too.
What?
Yeah, just have like.
Are you buying? Like, is it right there on your table?
It's my desk, and I kind of I decorate with fancy bottles of whiskey.
Okay, well, I got like wine.
Ooh, there you go. All right.
There you go. Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
Everybody, let's have a drink.
Drink while Mog's not watching, or Mel's not watching.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. So what did you just drink?
It's a little monkey shoulder single malt.
Oh. It's all like whiskey. Except brandy.
Yeah, I've whiskey. I have some. I have apple brandy too. I didn't drink that because it is very powerful.
Sounds like definitely.
Yeah, that's something I bought a while ago, and just take an occasional sip there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he is having some technical difficulties. So
no, he decorates his table with lots of like expensive, I don't know, collectible like whiskeys and like liquor.
Oh yeah.
Hardcore, and he's like, okay, let's take a shot. And he just took a shot with me. He's like ready right there.
My right now I'm out.
Got some tequila. We could do some tequila shots. I got some Cabo Wabo over
there.
So what do we have? We have a bourbon.
We got bourbon and some Kahlua.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. What do you like? What do you like in your bourbons?
I just drink it straight.
I mean, like, what's your brand or bottle of choice?
Oh, I don't know. This is my first time trying bourbon. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really too. There is one, but I can't remember what it was. Was it B something? Being
Buffalo Trace?
No.
It's not Tennessee. It's Kentucky. Is it Kentucky? I think it was a state name.
Man, I know I should know it, but I can't remember it. I used to have like before I used to have like a bottle of bourbon all the time because whenever I would get like sick, that worked better than cough syrup.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's kind of what my apple brandy is for. That's like you take a shot of that and it'll clear your sinuses and you can take a nap right away.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. What brand of the brandy is that? Is that the EJ one?
That's Laird's Apple Brandy. They have it over at Total Wine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's a local distillery actually in town that does a really good bourbon called Mulholland Distillery, and you can find that at a couple liquor stores around if you go looking.
Yeah, right now I'm stuck on it's that peanut butter. Yeah, Screwball peanut butter.
Oh yeah, the peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's what I'm stuck on right now.
Yeah, I really like.
I've been stuck on that.
Like everybody likes Fireball, but I like taking, the cinnamon one.
I
like taking a shot of that and putting it in glass of like apple cider, the hard apple cider, like Angry Orchard or something.
Yeah,
wow.
Like that cinnamon and the apple together. It's really good.
Yeah, we just finished off a bottle of Fireball not too long ago too.
That's a good idea. Apple cider.
Yeah, that was over the holidays, and actually we finished quite a few bottles over the holidays. And that's why I need to restock. I haven't restocked since then yet.
Well, I suppose we could talk about Don's books.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Yes.
Let's see here.
Everybody. Thank you for still hanging out with us.
His latest book is that he just got out is Dreadlock, right, which is I think it's like a Mad Max, a cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is steampunk story here in LA.
Do you have his? Does he have a Kickstarter now? Can we like pull it up? No.
I'm looking as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was that Kickstarter.
Oh.
Yep, there it is. I got it. Let me see here.
And he will be appearing in San Diego.
Oh no, it's already ended.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm sure if you talk to him, you can get it. If you've ever seen Don's art, he actually does good work. And this is not his first book. He's had like several books that he's put out already. He does keep himself pretty busy. And he's worked with some pretty interesting people as well. So I've never had a chance to really talk to him as much, even though he is here in the LA area, the same place as we are. He started a group, or he's one of the co-founders for Sketchybug, which is, here it is.
Hey Don, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey guys.
Okay.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
No worries. We understand that sometimes we still have that ourselves. So we were just like talking about
like one of your books,
the Dreadlock, and about you yourself. But now that you're here, you can probably give us the better information of that. So I was just mentioning that you are one of the co-founders, I believe, for Sketchybug.
Yes, one of the 4 co-founders.
Okay, and who are the 4?
So myself, Jackson in Oregon.
Okay.
He actually moved away to, I think, Riverside a couple years ago, pre-COVID. Don Schmidt.
Oh, okay.
And you guys know Don Schmidt, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the name. Yeah, I don't think Margaret, but yeah.
And then John Ersick was the 4th.
And what was the purpose of creating and bringing about the Sketchybug?
So the 4 of us met at the Comic Bug through other events, and struck up conversations, and like, oh yeah, we draw comics, or John Ersick was a colorist, and Jackson did a little bit of everything, and so we originally were meeting at like Starbucks like once a week, hanging out and creating and sharing our expertise or ideas with one another, just to kind of as comics being a very sedentary, is that the right word? Lonely kind of pursuit. We just liked having people we can talk to on a regular basis, and help each other really. And then we took the idea to the Comic Bug, because we all met there at different events that they were putting on, and said, can we meet here regularly? And they're like, sure, sounds like a good idea. And that's kind of like where it all started in 2012. Started meeting on Wednesdays in the back of the shop, and been doing it ever since. We had, of course, a little bit of break during COVID, but the group's mantra really is to just foster the love of comic books, comic creating. At the Game Hub, which is the game store right next to the comic book in Manhattan Beach, there's a creator wall in the back of that shop. And 95% of the books back there on that wall are all by local California and South Bay creators who publish their books. And most of them are sketchy bug creators.
Nice.
So,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and the comic bug you're talking about in Manhattan Beach, that's owned by Jun Goku.
Yes.
He's a good friend of mine, and he does a lot to promote the local artists, and we do appreciate them for that. They have another event coming up on March 3rd, I believe, Asian Invasion, where they're featuring local Asian artists. So that's another one worth checking out. And you yourself, you're going to be down in San Diego this weekend. Is that correct?
I am. I will be participating in the 5th annual Black Comics Day. So it's a celebration of Black comic creators. Of course, Black History Month.
Right.
So it's going to be at least 30 different African American comic creators with their own books of various genres. That event, which is free to the public and very family friendly, will be held at the World Beat Center in San Diego this Saturday and Sunday. I believe it's 10 to 6 p.m. on both days. So in the area, or you can travel, come see me and a bunch of other awesome creators. I will have limited copies of Dreadlock the Barbarian available.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that. And I saw the posting from LA Comic Con that put you up, actually featured you in that post for Black Lives Matter at that show this coming weekend. So that's really nice of them to do that. I actually got really felt really good about seeing that, how they're able to promote that, even though it's not their show. That was nice of them to do that.
That's awesome.
Hey Nick, it's nice to have Nick Brucci here on the show. Make sure you catch his show, the original artwork, on Fridays at 4:00 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. He puts up some great art pieces, and he sells it cheap.
Yes.
And you know what else? That guy stocks it deep to sell it cheap. Boom. All right. Gave you a plug there, Nick. But anyway, so you brought up Dreadlock the Barbarian, and that's a book that you just had launched and it just finished. How did that go for you?
The creation part of it went fairly well. I do a lot of Kickstarters, or not a lot. I've probably done like, I think 7. Unfortunately, I'm one of those guys that my books are often late, and Dreadlock was one of those books that was way later, unfortunately, than I wanted to be. I did originally a 10-page Dreadlock short story and an anthology called Danger Arcade that the Sketchy Bugs put together during COVID. And I enjoyed doing that story so much. Like, the character's kind of a throwaway character. I didn't really have many plans for the character. Just one short little fun story. But while drawing it and developing the character for the anthology, I had a lot of fun. And, you know, when you create characters, like the good ones tend to take lives of their own, like in your head. Yeah. They start writing themselves. And all of a sudden, more stories are coming to my head, like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can go delve into this idea or that idea. And so the goal was right after the one short story, the idea was to go to a one shot for him. I developed it. I created him to be part of my Dork Empire Inc. shared universe. So briefly, I have a shared universe, Dork Empire Inc. That's my my little studio name. Okay. And I have modern day books planned, which Agent Wild, which is already published. That's one of my modern day books. I have a book called A Reaper Core, which is a future set book. Dreadlock is actually a spinoff of that Reaper Core book. Actually, I have a copy of that right here. Let's see. So this is Reaper Core, if you guys can see that real good. So this is the Reaper Core book. Dreadlock is a sister or brother, we got book to Reaper Core. They're set in the same time period, the same, historical time frame, but deals with different types of themes. Dreadlock is all about the right to live how you want. He exists in a somewhat post-apocalyptic looking desert landscape. And so it's all about high adventure. It's about do you want to do, when you want to do it, bucking the system. I call it a cyberpunk Western.
Is that set in LA or is there?
So it's set in the future of the United States, which is not a country anymore. It's really a landmass. So like, it's on what used to be the west coast of California. The Reaper Core book is basically set in what used to be Los Angeles, in that area. And so Dreadlock's Dreadlock's book would be out in the desert, and more closer to like the high desert, which is present day, like Victorville and San Bernardino area.
Right.
So over the mountains, past the mountains, basically.
Right. Okay. And how would you describe your art style?
I have been told that my style is reminiscent of.
Nice. It's very pleasant to look at. I actually liked it from what you sent me, and from what I've seen your work at the shows. Stuff by your tables. If I don't know if you noticed me or not, but I haven't looked at your artwork, and I do like it. So, I think everybody should take a look at it. The work you've been putting out is really great. But yeah, so let's get back. How would you describe? I mean, what are your influences for your style?
Well, it's funny. I've been compared to like, say, Bart Sears and Alan Davis the most, which is awesome. I love Alan Davis in particular.
And Bart Sears is so technical. So he's a good guy to learn from.
I see less Bart Sears than Alan Davis, but like, I'm like 50, so like my influences go all the way from like John Byrne, Barry Windsor Smith.
Because I see that because your style does have a throwback to that era, but it is kind of like modernized with what you have now. But it has that feel, that kind of energy and style from back in those days, from the 80s and the early 90s.
It's definitely my heyday for sure. And of course, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, these guys were also influences like in the 90s, of course. I've also been told I have a very 90s style. A editor at Boom said that years ago, like probably 4 years ago, but she didn't say that, I don't think, in the compliment that I took it. So
okay.
So she was doing portfolio reviews at the Bug, actually, and the Sketchy Bugs were kind of hanging out, and she was there promoting something, and so she went and did portfolio reviews for us, and she's like, "Oh, your stuff's like 90s retro." I'm like, "All right, cool," but the look on her face was not complimentary, so I'm like, "Oh, you don't like 90s retro, okay, but whatever, it's fine. Like I didn't care." Like I do what I do, and if she don't like it, then don't hire me.
Well, I like 90s retro. I prefer I'd rather go back more into like the 80s and stuff. That's where I saw a lot more that was like going on. I felt art wise for me, because you had guys like Frank Miller coming out into the scene, Todd McFarlane.
Oh yeah.
Jim Lee guys were, Jim Lee, they were there and stuff, but they didn't. It's like they didn't really make the mark until they got into the X-Men, which was I think in the early '90s. So
Yeah.
they weren't quite there yet. Then you have you still have some of the legends that were there, like John Buscema. Let's see, God, I can't even remember. Of course, Neil Adams was there. Art Adams started out in the early '80s.
Oh yeah, with Long Shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember looking at Marvel Fanfare number 13. He had done the cover for that, and there was no signature on the book. I'm going, who the heck did this book? Who did this cover? And, there was like no credits for it, until I find out later. Oh, it's this new guy. His name is Art Adams. I go, damn, this was some killer art,
Right.
So there was like a wide spectrum of new artists coming up with their own distinct styles in that decade, which made it like so interesting, and diverse at that time.
Exactly.
It is now, but it's in a different way. And then if you look at the comics today that's being put out, you don't see that good of pencil line art that's being put out, because now it's all being relied on the coloring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I find that super annoying too. Like a lot of guys are drawing like coloring books, and it's like, wait, this is, what are you doing? Like, it's not how we're supposed to do this, guys. Like,
won't you say like the 90s is the pinnacle of when it comes to drafting, at least in comics, the pinnacle of technicality and skill. And then from the 2000s, with the advent of technology, it kind of like draftsman skill kind of, I feel like maybe went a little like downgraded, but in return, the coloring like just evolved a lot more.
I would almost say the draftsmanship left in the 80s. I think the 70s and 80s were the best comes to draftsmanship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 90s guys, a lot of these guys, I think, kind of grew up learning how to draw by reading comics.
Yeah. I have to agree with you, because I love the covers from the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
I love the covers from the 70s. And the comics today just doesn't have that feel. They don't grab me like they did back then.
No, exactly.
Call me old school or whatnot, But yeah, I can see where today, it's a process, right? Mm. And everybody's trying to crunch their time, and they're crunching the numbers, right? Mm-hmm. So you want to kick that out as quickly as possible. Yeah, sure, they're going to cut back on the penciling, cut back on the inkers, and put it more heavily on the coloring. But even that, when I look at the coloring, when I look at a comic book, it looks so flat to me most of the time. I don't enjoy it as much as I used to back then.
But that's I think a lot of that is the colorist can only color what they've got to color with, like what the art gives them. Right. So when there's no contrast in the artwork, there's no real craftsmanship in it. They can only do so much. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And a lot of times now, when I'm looking at a book, I'm seeing like speed lines, or like it almost looks like it's part manga book in a way, because they're applying some of the techniques that you would normally see in a manga book, instead of like the actual backgrounds, or including of some of the elements in the panels. That will give us an idea of like where they're at, or their placement in the room, or the space that they're in. And I'm seeing less and less of that now, and it's just those speed lines that are like kind of like going in there.
There's definitely a manga influence to things, which I'm fine with. When
I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not my preference.
But it's also not necessary in everything.
No, it's not.
And it's kind of permeating almost every genre of book now, from horror to superheroes to sci-fi. It's like it works in certain areas.
Right. Yeah, because they're using that to show some effects. They replaced it like the boom, the bam, zap, and putting those lines in there,
Yeah.
So. But anyway, so we are talking to Don Walker. He's our special guest tonight, and you are on SketchUp, watching us on The Experience. And on that note, we will be right back. We're going to take a commercial break.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Princess Zelda sad after watching a bunch of YouTube videos? She couldn't find a link in the description. We'll stop if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's super easy. Click subscribe and click the bell when you do. And thanks for supporting the EXP.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Did you know that across America there are over 2, maybe even 3 live stream producers who can't even afford Mountain Dew? Take Brian here. Brian has gone 2 weeks without a sip of Red Bull. If it goes on much longer, he may take a shower and get a real job. Situations like this are as tragic as they are preventable. Join The Experience on YouTube and gain access to special emojis and members-only streams. For less than a cup of coffee, you can keep socially awkward hermit people working from their parents' basements where they belong. Scan the QR code on the screen to join. You'll be glad you did.
Go follow The Experience on TikTok at @the_EXP1 or scan the QR code on the screen. Our TikTok is like everywhere else we are, except you only have to deal with us for a minute. Seems like a win-win to me.
Welcome back to SketchUp with Mog and Mel. You're watching us on The Experience. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, share, like, and let's get the word out there. And yeah, let's also, if you can subscribe to the channel, that's even better. We'll get our numbers up on there. So we're talking to Don Walker. He's our special guest tonight. And
what is he drawing?
Yeah, Don, what are you drawing?
Hello.
Hello, Don. Okay, he may not have his. He's on mute.
Either muted or.
Yeah, but what are you drawing, Mom?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Ewok, Grogu, and his little snack, the toad or the frog.
Okay.
And Ewok is like, "This is mine. I found this. It's my dinner."
But the frog?
No. The Ewok. He found this.
Oh, okay. So the Ewok's gonna eat him.
So you can't get this from his mind.
And so you'll be able to. You can bid on these art pieces. We are looking for opening bid of $100, and we're accepting bids in increments of 5. So if you like that and where the art is going to, you can go ahead and bid on that. Not sure what Don is drawing. Don, can you hear us yet? Okay, Don is busy drawing. Anybody want to guess what is he drawing? Anybody can guess that?
I think it's Hellboy.
That's what it looks like with the bumps on the head, but that could be just goggles, like steampunk goggles or something like that. It could be one of his characters. But yeah, we'll see if we can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mog on this one because he's got a Hellboy reference book right next to him.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, even Robin said
okay,
Hellboy.
Okay. I'm sorry, my eyes are going bad. I didn't see that.
Okay, let's do close up and see. I think it's Hellboy.
Yeah, that does look like Hellboy. Yeah. Okay, so if you if you're a fan of Hellboy, you can place a bid on that for $100.
It's just Steven. Well, now you know he works in a trance. He's not of this world right now. He's the true artist. Remember how he said in the beginning he's like who's lonely? Like all artists that get lonely.
Yeah, it's the thing is that the artist, you're working at home. Okay, you don't. It's not a 9-to-5 job where you go into a studio and you work. Right. And I've hung out with several artists, and that's the thing is that we would go out to Starbucks and work out there, and they'd be doing drawing and stuff, and I'd just be on my computer doing my own work and stuff like that. But thank God there's a Starbucks, because I don't know where we would have gone before that. Maybe meet at a Dunkin' Donuts or something, but there's nowhere really to sit down. A lot of them don't have a place where you can like sit down and
well, let's
what do you call that? Sit down
and draw
and stuff like that. And there's a few places that we went to. I'm not going to mention, but we'd go in there, sit down, eat, and draw, and then they would kick us out, telling us that we're staying in there too long. Yeah, even though the place was empty.
Yeah, it's considered like you're like loitering, just taking up their electricity and whatever.
We were ordering.
They don't want you to drink all their free coffee.
No, we didn't drink all the free. We weren't that old yet. We weren't seniors where we could drink it. But however, there was this one place that we would go out to. It was a Taiwanese place, a little kind of small place, right? We could sit there for hours, right? So there was a few of the Marvel artists with us at that time, and we would just sit there and drink boba. Right, now check this out. Refills on the boba drinks were free. Right, how cool is that? So I was getting caffeinated with these coffee boba drinks, sitting there all day drinking.
So they refill the drink, but you have to reuse the boba. You have to like wash them off.
No. They would refill the drink. It wouldn't have any more boba in it, but so you'd just be getting like whatever it was you're drinking, Thai tea or Thai coffee or something like that of what they had.
Actually, Garden Cafe, they still do it. You order a meal, and then the moment you order like a boba drink, they will keep refilling for free.
That is true, but that's not a place where you can like sit down and stay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't drink coffee or caffeinated beverages like that anymore, though.
You don't?
I can't do that.
Why?
Either.
Are you drinking those fancy, what do you call mushroom coffee now?
Oh no! I drink it. I just can't drink that much of it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Yeah. I used to drink.
You may have to text. You may have to text Don and let him know he might have to reboot whatever he's using.
Yeah, I actually just texted him.
Oh, you did?
Oh, okay.
I just messaged him, but he's still not even looking at his messenger. But I think it's like Stevie, where he's in a trance.
He's in a trance.
Yeah, he's in the zone. Look at that, the Hellboy coming together there.
Yeah, he thinks that when it's commercial break, it's like a 15-minute commercial.
So maybe somebody can put something in the comments. Hey, Don.
Yeah, like if somebody has a poltergeist power, please like disrupt him, please. Like go back. Maybe he's.
I'm trying to text him again.
Hello, Don. Do you have us maybe muted? I mean, I just saw him check his phone, but I don't know if that was for reference or what it was for.
Well, he was having technical difficulties, so.
That's not his phone. He's picking up.
Well, he is on his phone.
No, I thought that was his phone he was touching, but it's actually like a pencil case.
But he is doing this on his phone. When I was talking to him earlier, that's what he was saying.
That's the problem. He's using his phone, so he's looking at the picture that he's drawing, and his phone is filming it, so he's not looking up at the phone. Oh no.
Well, hopefully he's getting these notifications and they're popping up and telling him,
hey. But it's beautiful to watch it work.
Yeah. It's great. So we can like pretend. I can pretend you're Don and we can talk. taking to view. So Don, tell me about your book.
Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah. CUB's bringing that up. Can you send a couple of flares?
I wonder if we can, like, I don't know, somebody have some kind of ESP power, like have his pencil case drop down suddenly, and then.
Oh, then that would be great if we had that kind of power. Yeah.
Or at least he'll have the somebody like telepathically tell him, Don, don't you think the break is taking too long? Aren't you concerned?
Yeah. So well. Anyway, so well, I'm not sure what else I can say about Don, but for Mog, yeah, you've got just thinking like, okay, yeah, I did mention that she'll be at the Asian Invasion March 3rd at the Comic Bug in Manhattan Beach, and then let's see, after that, where will you be going? You'll be going to let's see, at the end of that's February. That's March. So at the end of March, it's going to be WonderCon, and then after that, it's Gem State Con in Idaho. You'll be your special guest there. Let's see. So that's April, and then I think the next one is
Mel.
Oh, Las Vegas Comic Con, which is in the last weekend of April.
Yeah, Mel.
Yeah.
I have a question to you. Do you think, like, when you say all these dates and like events, like a list, people have as good of a memory like you?
There are people that actually plan when these dates are. They don't have to remember as much as we do, because there's only a handful of shows that they're going to go to, right?
Yeah.
So if you're here in California, they know when WonderCon is at. They know when San Diego Comic Con is at. They know when LA Comic Con is at. They know San Diego Comic Fest. They know all that, so they're not gonna remember. They know what shows they want to go see. Even some of these guys that like travel, these like we know some guys that are from Texas. They'll go to MegaCon in Florida, and then they'll go to LA Comic Con and Phoenix Comic Con. So they know the dates.
See, for me, I always assume by the time I remember a show is coming up, it's already sold out, so I don't have to bother with it.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? For example, the moment you open your mouth, Mel, and whenever you start saying these numbers and dates and events, it's like, I don't know, it's like suddenly you're talking alien language. I can only retain maybe the first and the last one, but all the middle ones, I don't know how you do it, Mel. You're like freaking savant level.
That's not savant level. Anybody that most normal people will know the dates that is important.
JD is normal, and he just said that. Oh, by the way, guys, please tip JD. It was great. Thank you for the $2 last time. He even said that he forgets the dates. I think you're like savant level, Mel. Seriously.
No, you need to talk to more people, and they'll tell you they know. I mean, you should know that already by the people that come to you, see you at the shows, and talk to you about commissions, and how they waited to see you. One example is that girl from San Diego.
Which girl? There's so many girls.
Okay, listen first.
Okay.
She missed you at the Revolution, Comic-Con Revolution.
Okay.
And the reason why she missed you was because of the COVID was still going on at that time.
Yeah.
And then she saw that you were going to be in Phoenix, so she made it out there to that show.
Okay.
Right? So she knew the dates, and she knew about LA Comic Con and all that, and she was thinking about like coming up there and seeing you. Right. So I mean, yeah, people do know the dates, right? Maybe they may not know it off the top of their head, but they're gonna have it recorded like.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Or they have an idea of like around when it's going to be.
That's incredible.
We don't know the exact dates of San Diego Comic Con, but we know it's in July.
Okay, then you just proved to me that I'm not normal. So thank you. But anyway, I got a brilliant idea. I will messenger call him and see if he'll pick up the phone.
Okay. Guess we can try that, see if that works.
Let's take a quick break, and
Yes,
while you're
please.
doing that, and we'll be right back.
All right, we'll be right back.
Did you know that every experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out, twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code. What if Hans Gruber from Die Hard had to battle the Joker from Batman the Animated Series in a dance battle? Or who would win in a race between Baby from Baby Driver and Snidely Whiplash? If Austin Powers and Shrek found themselves in a hot dog eating contest, who would emerge victorious? These are the questions we talk about on Nerd Killer Warfare. Debate the most absurd questions you've ever heard in popular culture. Register now by scanning the QR code or visiting bit.ly/EXP casting.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise. A promise of adventure. A promise of excitement. A promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Sure he's in there.
Welcome back to SketchUp on the Experience with Mog and Mel.
Hello.
We're with our special guest, Don Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And Don, what are you drawing? Is it Hellboy?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Don is drawing Hellboy. Mog has the Ewoks, Grogu, and his friendly frog.
Mm-hmm.
They are open for bids. We are looking for an opening bid of $100 if anybody wants to do that. And we are taking bids of in increments of 5. So we are talking about art, and Stevie B wrote the 80s were a transitional decade and really represented a changing of the guard in art and technology. He also wrote, he's also asking you a question, Don. I enjoy when a book is able to be printed directly from the artist's detailed pencils. Would that be possible from your work, Don, or do you pencil loosely and tighten with your ink work?
Good question.
Real quick, I'm sorry. You guys are real low.
Okay.
And my sound is all the way up. I can barely hear you guys.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Does this sound better?
It's clearer. It's just really low.
Okay.
How about me? Do you hear me?
See this on my end here. My sound's all the way up. Should be okay. What was the question? I'm sorry. One more time.
Okay. Stevie B is wondering for your work. He says he enjoys books that are able to be printed directly from the artist's detailed pencils. Is it possible to get that from your work, or do you pencil loosely and tighten with your ink work?
So yeah, you can totally shoot the pages off my pencils. I don't like that though. Let me show you some on my drawing board right now. So okay, here's so you can see a good picture of this or not. This is a trading card art for Dreadlock. Mm-hmm. I do very, very tight pencils. Like, it's done.
Wow.
There's nothing for the inker to figure out. It's all there.
Right.
Again, good inkers are embellishers, so they can add things. Line, weight, depth, the whole bit. But I'm very much old school, traditional penciler. So I like traditional inkers if at all possible. I have a couple guys I work with that do digital inking that looks just like traditional inking. Like I don't like any book that's colored on top of the pencils. I hate that.
Colored on top of the pencils.
Yeah. Because
certain books they'll just take the pencil's artwork, they'll darken it in Photoshop, not ink it, mind you, just darken it, and then have a colorist color it.
Yeah.
And that's super annoying.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you there, because you can't see the pencil, you can't see the original work, and that's what I would prefer to see myself. Hi, Ilya, how you doing? Good to have you on the show.
What's up?
And I like John Buscema is an example. I would look at his pencils, right, and they're beautiful pencil pages that he would do, and then to see that ink and then color it just wasn't the same. The results were nice, but the artist's work, the original pencils, are just lost, and they get unappreciated. Or not appreciated as much. And I'm that way when I do collect art. I do collect the pencils. I'd rather have it that way and not ink, not colored. I want to see it raw. I like it raw.
Well, Buscema's stuff is, he has a style, but it's very minimalist style. So it lends to interpretation by other inkers. And depending on who inks them, like, I don't know, like, trying to remember inkers all of a sudden. Like Terry Austin was a good inker for him. Herb Trimp, who's also another artist, was a good inker for him. Like, you could easily mess up John Buscema's artwork because it's, for lack of a better phrase, it's not very stylistic, even though he has a style. It's not like a Jim Lee stylistic. It's very open. I didn't
care for the regular comics that he would do, the superhero comics. But when I looked at his Conan pages, that's the artwork that I really enjoyed from John.
Then isn't the proper word is he has an illustrative style? That's why anybody who has an illustrative style seems to do really well with like ritual storylines like Conan, anything like Edgar Rice Burroughs type of stuff. Even like Barry Windsor Smith when he started, especially his earlier work, was very illustrative. That's why it was so beautiful.
I also think he was having more fun with books like Conan.
Yeah.
As opposed to, superhero stuff.
Because he did admit that he didn't like doing the superhero stuff. Yeah. Listen, Ilya writes, Hogarth's pencil and inks were killer, right? And Hogarth, I believe that's the same Hogarth that put out all those
dynamic pose books with
exaggerated anatomy, drawing books that were just like really expensive and thick and heavy. But he had, I had a set of those books that I thought they were kind of like the Bible to
I have all those books
as to when I was trying to attempting to draw and get started. I kind of wish I had them now. I just didn't like. I ended up moving a lot, so I didn't like carrying them around with me so much. And Ilya writes that Buscema was a little loose in his opinion, and that is him.
Then you know what, Don? I have a question for you. Just as an artist, what do you define like the difference between an amateur and a pro? What does a pro do that the amateur doesn't do?
I'm sorry, one more time.
She's trying to ask what is the difference between an amateur and a pro? To me, that's a big wide question.
Yeah, that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a loaded
because like you could say, oh well, if you get paid, you're a professional.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. Like you can be paid and not be professional quality.
Yeah.
So I think quality of work is my main barometer for professional. Mm-hmm. And then there's your professional attitude. Like, do you get work done on time? Mm-hmm. You know, draftsmanship.
Like work itself, like what you consider what a professional work is compared to somebody who is an amateur. Just the technicality part. Does that narrow it, or if it's too much, then let's skip the question.
No, I think it's there's no right answer for that. It's going to be personal opinion.
That's why I said, what is your version of?
Yeah, my version of professionalism is just putting work out. Obviously, putting good work out. I guess more than anything else, like you put stuff out and people like it, and people pay you for it, or whether you create your own books through Kickstarter and sell them at cons, people are buying from you and enjoying your work. Professionalism. There you go. You're professional. Do you pay your bills with it? That's really not always a sign of professionalism. Like,
no, it was more like,
especially for the artists, because we've seen, especially with many of the legends, they had a hard time, you know, going into their retirement. They had a hard time paying their bills, and now some of them have suffered after they retired because they just didn't have that kind of income where they could like save the money.
No, this is like beyond like whether you're getting paid as a professional or not. It was just more like the quality of the work, like a technical skill level version as a technical aspect compared to an amateur versus a professional. Like, you know, when you get people like who are just starting out or amateurs or who think that they're maybe ready or not, you look at their artwork and you're like, oh, you're not ready yet. Like, is there something that...
Again, to me, that's a loaded
question. Okay, never mind. Let's just pass this and now back to you. Thank you.
That's a loaded question because, you know, there's you might see it in an artist, like they may not have everything, right? But like for me as an editor, right, if I see that they have the passion, right, that's the key thing for me. But they may not have all the necessary skills, but I see that they're teachable and they're willing to absorb the information that's given to them like a freaking killer sponge, you know. Then to me that's like the start, right? Whereas if I see somebody that okay, he's good in doing characters, but he's not great in doing backgrounds, you know, or another artist who mainly just does pinups. So it's a gray area. You know, there's different things that you see, and I take it on a case-by-case basis as to who I'm going to take in.
I think too, with the ability to do sequential art, you got a lot of young people who just want to do covers and never learn sequential art.
No.
And you're like, well, you're not really a comic book artist, then are you? You just want to do covers.
Yeah.
And I get people coming at me at shows. I self-publish all my stuff. Yeah, I'm a company, but like I'm the only guy drawing books right now, right? Mm-hmm. People come at me like, hey, I want to draw for you. I'm like, who are you? Like, what? And they come with no portfolios, just like, here's my Instagram. I'm like, nah, man, I need to see what you're doing. Like, I need to see, or I'll get people a portfolio and it's all pinups.
Yeah.
And they call them covers, but just pinups. There's no design quality. There's no storytelling involved.
Mm-hmm.
They're not keeping open spaces for logos or company names. Like, you're just doing pinup art. You're calling it, you know, covers.
Yeah, and you want to be more precise, they're like swimsuit covers. It's all the sexy girly stuff, you know, and that's, you know, that's just a small niche of what comics is about, and it's
exactly
close to the core, you know. Yeah.
But won't you say though, despite all of that, I hate to say this, but you know, they do sell, like sex sells, right? Anything
for a time being, right? But I'm looking at the companies that do that, and some are doing good. They know how to time the release of their products, and you don't want to flood your product out there. And then I see other companies that, you know, they are doing that, and they're losing it. And the guys that have a certain style and niche that they're putting out there, you know, they come and go. They come and go so quickly, because there's no content to it, and So it's not going to create that sustainability, that staying power to keep customers coming all the time, because you're not evolving, you're not changing. You're just putting out the same thing every single time. Your covers are basically all the same. Different pose, different position, but it's all the same. You can only put so much of that up or collect so much, and because in collecting art, I think people like the variety. They don't just collect one style. And I'm reading all the comments here by Ilya, and you're mentioning all these great people like Eisner, who changed the spirit, Alcala. God, and that era with Alcala was I love that era. Hello, Cool Gamer. Glad to have you here as well.
Hello.
And so, Don, you do have some other books. What other books do you have?
So again, I have Reaper Core, which actually is sold out at the moment. This is first print. I did 1,000 copies of that. Those are all gone, except what I have kind of like in my own personal stock. Agent Wild issue 0, which is a one shot. Agent Wild number 1 of 5. Do I have those floating around? One sec.
Nice.
And then you got Danger Arcade.
So Agent Wild number 0. Then Agent Wild number 1. This is actually a Mark Beecham variant cover for issue 1.
Yeah, I see that you're a big Mark Beecham fan.
I love Mark Beecham. Yeah, he's actually a friend of mine. I've known that dude for like since the 80s. And he's like one of the coolest cats ever.
For a long time. I remember when he actually used to be here in the LA area, I believe, in the 80s. But I think he's in New York now. Is that correct?
No, he is in Orange County.
Oh, okay. So he is still in the area.
Yeah, he's still local.
Okay.
We hang out every once in a while, but yeah, he's a super cool guy. Very he is, might call it quirky.
Oh, what kind of quirky? Because there's so many different kinds of quirky.
Well, so he's very much he beats by his own drum. He does what he likes to do, which again is everything he does is very eschews erotica, right?
Yes.
And it's one of the reasons he doesn't draw books for Marvel or DC or anybody else anymore, because he can't turn that off. He just does what he does, and you have to live with it or you don't work with him. And he makes plenty of money in commissions. The guy, he's doing well, let's put it that way. He don't need Marvel and DC. So he can go, I don't want to work with you if I can't do what I want to do. And he's not going to change that opinion. Like, the guy is just who he is. I love him for it personally, but the bigger publishers kind of like, they don't like that whole like maverick attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does great art. At the time, I believe when I first saw him in the 80s, he was putting out acrylic, doing acrylic paintings, and it was on the erotic side, and it was and this was a time when we were manga was getting more exposure here in the United States, but it was more of that, the stuff with the octopus tentacles and that erotic kind of manga that was
doujinshi?
That doujinshi kind of stuff. I forget what the name of that series, but it was like really
hentai, the hentai era.
No, the hentai I don't think
hentai
was
manga.
Here,
hentai is basically the tentacles and all that stuff.
But, Mark Beecham was putting out that kind of work, along with the other guy that was putting out his own style was Tim Visual during that time.
Oh God!
I remember visual stuff too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That stuff was like selling like hotcakes during that time until people got to look at the book and they said, "What? Oh, cool. This was a little bit
I know
too much."
Some people they're like, "Oh, what size is this?" It's about 7 by 10.
Yeah. Hello, I don't like comics from Canada. Glad to have you here. And do you have any future plans for other? I think you did. You did say you had some other projects coming out of your universe?
It's for me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was in there drawing like what? Yeah. So I have let's see, in the works. So I'm working on an Agent Wild miniseries, issue 2 at the moment. There's also a book.
Yes.
In the works called. I have a picture of it right here. 1 second. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Kitten and Cat.
Oh.
That's going to be our first kids book. It will also be part of the overall universe. It kind of fits in a weird position in that the book is about a time traveling kleptomaniac, or interdimensional hopping kleptomaniac. So the character of Cat, her name's Katina, or Cat for short. She's a dimension hopping alien, so like she can exist in the present or future.
Okay.
Her first story takes place on her world / dimension, so we don't know how she's gonna fit in later on. We haven't worked out yet, but it's gonna be a one shot. All my 0 issues, whether it's Dreadlock 0, Rerecord 0, Agent Wild 0, Kitten and Cat 0, those are all basically pilots.
Okay.
And if they sell well, we do more.
Nice.
That's kind of my way I operate with the one shots.
Okay.
That
So
particular book, Kitten and Cat, will be drawn by a young artist named Marino Gonzalez.
Okay.
They are on Instagram. They're called Neon Jazz Party.
Okay.
Huh?
What is your best selling series?
Rerecord is probably the best one, which is why I sold out.
What is the story?
It's funny. You get people who like either Rerecord really well and not Agent Wild, or they love Agent Wild and not Rerecord. It's kind of like I get very few people who like both a lot. It's one or the other. So Rerecord being a team book set in the future, Agent Wild is a single character story set in the modern day. So it's all sci-fi action. So it all comes down to personal taste.
Okay.
Nice.
What is the story about?
Give us a little information on Rerecord.
Sell it to us.
So Agent Wild, I just say Agent Wild is like, gosh, I'm put on a spot now. Like Black Widow meets Wonder Woman. She is an alien assassin, and she hunts down other aliens who operate on Earth in secrecy. She's part of a group called 12th Hour, which is a paramilitary policing unit. She's an assassin for his policing unit. So there's a secret alien presence on Earth. When those aliens act up and run afoul of the law, they send her out to eliminate those aliens. That's kind of her deal. So she's like a sleeper agent, kind of hanging out on Earth, taking out other aliens.
Wow.
Her miniseries involves a plot to overthrow the kind of like federations of planet-like organization she works for. It's called the Union of Species. And so there's a coup forming. And the problem with this idea is people are recruiting her to be part of this coup. Problem is, the person they're trying to overthrow is her mom.
Do the people know? Do the people know that that's
some issues there to work out?
Wait, does the people know that that's her mom?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's okay.
And the idea is her mom. The idea is they're telling her mother is a corrupt despot, basically. She is just ruling with an iron fist, and they've had enough of it. And at the center of all this drama is the planet Earth. And the miniseries goes into why the planet Earth is so important to her mother and the Union of Species. which of course I'm not going to give away right now.
Of course, yeah.
But if you read the book, you'll find that out.
Wow.
Now with Reaper Core, that one's set in the future of 2308, and in the future, mankind goes to the stars. They colonize other planets, and they come across an alien race called the Zartori. And what happens is mankind tries to settle a certain parcel of space owned by the Zartori. And so a massive war happens that lasts like 50 years. And during this war, called the Border War, mankind creates an AI they call Father. Yeah. This AI creates cloned humans as soldiers to fight this alien race to kind of protect mankind. They don't work too well. So then Father creates sentient cyborgs. And the Reaper Core is an armed forces of sentient cyborgs.
Yeah.
And these cyborgs end up saving mankind's butt. And then the book takes place 80 years after that war is over. Mankind is resettling the planet Earth. And there is friction between humans, the sentient cyborgs, and the clones. And so it's a very action-packed story, but revolves around a lot of interesting social mores.
Yeah.
For example, the clone humans are essentially like the apartheid era blacks in South Africa.
Okay.
There's more of them, but they're regularly basically crapped upon. They have all the crap jobs. They have little or no rights, and they see themselves as human because they are clones of humans, even though they're made to look like vampires, like Nosferatu kind of vampires.
Yeah.
But so they're kind of fighting for civil rights against humans, but the human society is the backbone are the Reaper Core. They control everything. They have all the power, really, because the cyborgs are bigger, faster, stronger than humans. So you have a society that's broken into like really 6 factions. Humans who are fine with cyborgs, humans who are not. You have clones who are fine with their station in life, clones who are not, and they in the first issue they lobbed the first attack on the cyborgs with a cloned army of terrorists, basically. And then you have the cyborg society, which is the cyborgs who are fine with humans and take care of humans, and cyborgs who can't stand humans. Like the Reaper Core itself, the main 3 characters. I don't know if you can see how well you can see this. So the guy in the red here near the top of the cover, this is Commander Adam. He is a veteran of the Border War. He is the cyborg that all cyborgs look up to. He's like Captain America of the cyborgs, basically. Everyone looks to him for guidance. Then you have this young woman here. Her name's Crystal. She is a cyborg that never saw combat. She is more, I like to think of her as my millennial cyborg. If Adam is like a zoomer, or if Adam's a boomer, she's a zoomer. And she didn't see war, any combat. She can't stand humans. She knows they're bigger, faster, stronger than humans. Why are we bothering these fools, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a third character in the book that part of the team that kind of, he rides both sides of the fence. Like, I know we're better, but our job is to take care of humans. That's what I'm going to do.
So Don, what is your inspiration for this story? How did this come about? What were you inspired by to do this?
Much history, I guess. Like, again, like the idea of the clones being apartheid blacks, that was always something I wanted to tackle one day in a comic. Like X-Men always gets this, they get credit for somehow riding this line of like, oh, the mutants are like black people in the civil rights era. And that was not always the case. That was something that was cooked up in the 80s with the God Loves, Man Kills graphic novel. That was not always the case. My book always had that idea in it, where we're going to deal with racism to a certain degree with the book, but again, it's wrapped up in a very high octane, fast paced storyline. Also, too, in the Reaper Core book, we deal with religion. So the character of Father, the AI that created the sentient cyborgs and the clones, that character is a deity to the cyborgs and the clones. Okay. And we have a society, again, it's 2308. Humans have no deities in my future. There's no God. There's none of that going on. And so you have humans looking at cyborgs kind of side-eye, like, really? Deity? Like, we created that guy. Come on. Calm down with that deity stuff. But that's how they act. So, and I'm a card-carrying atheist. Like, I'm cool if people want to be religious. It's not for me. But I love to examine it. Right. I love to examine why people do it, how it makes them feel or act. And these are all things in the long goal that when we do more Reaper Core stories, we're going to deal with religion. We're going to deal with racism. We're going to deal with, humans feeling obsolete to machines, which I think in the future is going to be an actual deal.
How did you come about to learn about how to tell a story? Were you formally trained? Did you take classes, to learn about like world building, character development, plot, and how to do your story?
So I would say a little bit of everything. So I'll see comics. I've been reading comics since I was 5. I say I'm 50, almost 50 coming up. So, and I think I've read a lot of good comics. Like I think I've read a lot of good stuff in the past that helped with my writing. But also I studied writing in film school, so I write screenplays as well.
All right.
I read a lot. Not many books I like to read.
Okay.
I kind of like falling back on that a little bit, but like, so yeah, I've had screenwriting classes, that dealt with story and structure. I was big on writing classes in high school. So I think I've always had a storytelling kind of mindset.
Okay. Was that
that helps
before drawing, or did writing a story come first before the art?
Again, it's happened to both. Like Dreadlock was a visual that came into my head. Mm-hmm. It's funny. The original Dreadlock design looked a lot like Afro Samurai, and my first Dreadlock character design was called Afro Barbarian. And I showed some friends of mine the Sketchy Bug, and they're like, "Oh, it looks like that Afro Samurai manga." I'm like, "What is that?" I'm not a huge manga fan, so I had no idea who it was. So I had to go completely revamp the design for what became Dreadlock the Barbarian. So, and this is his look now, which again was once I developed him more and decided to work him into the Dark Empire Inc. future era with the Reaper Core, it took on a much different look, much better look, more interesting look. But I've had storylines like Reaper Core was an idea just for a story that involved sentient cyborgs and humans clashing. I had the idea of like humans clashing with an AI, basically. And you probably say like, I'll tell people at shows, I go, it's a mix between, or it's a love child of, say, Terminator meets the Matrix, which wasn't my original idea for the characters. I came with this idea in like 2006 for Reaper Core. Didn't do the book till like 2017. But it was always about humans and cyborgs clashing in society. And I just developed the look of the characters little by little. Which is why it took so long to come out. So yeah, it could be both. It could be like, I have a good idea, and then I'll design artwork for it, or I'll come with a cool looking visual. Like Agent Wild was a visual. Again, I was like, that's cool outfit. I had a character called Wild that I did a short story on an anthology, like literally like 1989 or 1990, a long ass time ago. And she was kind of at the time, a kind of Daredevil-esque, local kind of street hero. And a buddy of mine wanted to do a comic, wanted me to do a book with him, and kind of like throw a character in there. So I started redeveloping the Wild character for like 2013 at the time. And so, I've been way into sci-fi and aliens and monsters and stuff, which are things I love to draw. And so that Wild character got revamped into an alien and with all these weird powers. And I developed a new story around what I like to draw, basically what I like to write about, which again, aliens and human stuff.
Yeah, that sci-fi element in there. Yeah, fantastic. I'm reading all the comments that are going here on chat, and it's covering like how to increase the numbers on the show and what's being drawn. So Stevie B writes, he talked about a show where they're drawing on coasters, and maybe Mog that we guess need to start drawing on elbow bending and sketching on placemats or lobster bibs. All right, so what we'll do next week, we'll do like remarks on some what do you call it? Some figures, action figures that we have that are still, they're still in the bubble. They're not open or anything. So, we'll try that for next week. And also, about bringing the numbers up, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up, share, like, and like on the show as well. That will definitely help get that going. And right now, we're on that note. Again, you're watching SketchUp on the Experience with Mog and Mel. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time. You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite new show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience, comic culture and sales.
You know how when you go to Comic-Con, after Comic-Con, you go to the hotel bar, and there's a whole bunch of people playing music and dancing, and you've got Pikachu and Lara Croft Tomb Raider doing the cha-cha slide just down from Deadpool and Batman and Wonder Woman? That's every Saturday night over on the Experience Twitch channel. Join Taji Beats for the EXP Dance Party, exclusively on Twitch, twitch.tv/the_EXP.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
Welcome back to SketchUp on the Experience with Mog and Mel. Mog is drawing a Ewok with Goru, and Don is having technical difficulties, but he's drawing a cowboy. But we are still looking for opening bids on that for $100 each. If anybody takes it at that, you're getting it some artwork that's really, really cheap. I'm reading the comments on here. There's some interesting things going on about drawing on a pizza box, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then selling that somewhere. I like that idea. It's very creative, especially if you've got any of the creators around at the show. For Las Vegas, I believe Kevin Eastman will be there, so that will be a good one to do. So I'm gonna have to go hit up my pizza shop that's close by over here and see if I can get some of their boxes and draw on that and sell that.
Well, will you have like pizza stains? Probably, right?
It might, it'll probably be better if you know how nerdy guys can get if they see pizza stains on here. That, in fact, maybe glue or somehow affix a pepperoni on top of there. Yeah.
Hey, Don.
Hey.
Can you hear us okay? Is it a little better?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, yeah.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Okay. Awesome.
So, I was talking about somebody had mentioned the ideas about illustrating on a pizza box and how that sold really quick. And I was thinking that's a good idea to take to the shows. So I'm going to have to hit up our pizza shop and get some boxes from them.
There you go.
Yeah. And for those of you that are able to drink tonight, for whatever you are drinking, I do have my wine glass here, and it is paired with some wonderful cheese that I've been nibbling on. So
oh my God!
What you guys have?
You sound so hearty.
So Don, what you've been in the industry for a long time, and you said you've read a lot. Is there a comic book story that is close to your heart that you like, that's your favorite?
Let's see. You know what? Probably not the normal stuff. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and go, "Oh, I love Watchmen." I could care less about Watchmen. I didn't even read Watchmen when it first came out. I had no idea why it was so popular. I had no idea. Like when I was younger, like in the 80s, I was all about superhero stuff, man. Like John Byrne's run on
X-Men.
Fantastic Four was that's one of the best stuff ever.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont on X-Men. Like I had, let's see, the height of my collection, I had the giant size X-Men, where they introduced, Storm, Thunderbolt, all the way through when Jim Lee left. I had that entire run of books.
Yeah.
Which I sold a couple years ago or 3 years ago, which sucks now. But I loved Claremont's writing because Claremont would write about real human stuff, right? Like he would do issues of X-Men where it was just like the X-Men hanging out playing basketball.
Yeah.
Like there's an issue he did with that featured Storm and Forge, and Barry Windsor Smith drew it. That was probably my favorite X-Men.
198, I believe.
That's like my favorite X-Men book ever. It was just two people hanging out talking.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like from artwork to story.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an amazing book. And those are kind of books I like the most, where when you can make mundane things interesting, that's good writing to me.
Well, it's funny that you should say that, because I've had this discussion with Bob. We see these guys, they're always, in action, or something is going on, they're trying to prevent some kind of crisis or whatever. And I suggested that maybe we should try to draw them where they're just in a regular setting, you know, like having coffee or something like that.
Right.
And just talking the shit about, you know, a Netflix series or something like that, you know.
Exactly.
You know, to make it a little, you know, you can add more into it to tell more of a story. I have this one painting in my house that's like of Paris cafe, I believe. And I told Mom, maybe we should just like repaint that. But we put all these X-Men, Marvel, DC characters in there, and just kind of, you know, some of them are going shopping, some of them are having coffee, some of them are just chit-chatting on the street. Magneto is flying down onto the main street, or, you know, or something like that, just to make it look, you know, different.
Yeah, total, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see it, or you don't see it enough.
Yeah. You know, like they must have lives. Well, if they were real, they must have lives too. You know, it's not like everybody's going to want to fight a crisis every day.
No, exactly. That's a problem with a lot of these books now, particularly Marvel. I've read a Marvel book monthly in probably 20 years. Because it's some kind of crisis every freaking 3 months, man. Like books aren't allowed to breathe anymore and have actual stories and character development. It's just always, you know, the next crossover here and there. Yeah. It's like,
or it's a rehash. You know, how many Infinity Crisis stories are we gonna have?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just can't even with that stuff anymore. It's boring.
I hear you on that. Yeah.
You know, but since you're talking about let's be realistically, how many crises you can have? I'm just wondering, like, if you really had so for you, if you really had a superpower, would you really go out and try to save the world every day?
No. Exactly. I'd go out and make money. I'd make money. I'd be rich. Yeah. I want a power that can make me wealthy.
What kind of power is that?
I don't know. Like, it's like the Spider-Man idea. Like, what happened when Spider-Man got his powers? He went and did something that could make him some money. Something bad happened, but that wouldn't be the norm, right? Like, if I could fly or have super strength, I would use that to my ability somehow to be rich. And I'm not saying I wouldn't want to save people. It's not my first inclination. I don't think anybody's first inclination would be, I have superpowers, I'm going to do good with them. Most folks are selfish individuals, and they would do something selfish with those powers. I think if you had 100 people get powers, not them would be bad guys. By the notion of human nature, most people would probably do something considered bad with those powers. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be like a pessimist. Like, I think humans are capable of great things. I think most of them probably not.
Yeah. Ilya, shipping is $15, and thank you for that bid on Mog's artwork.
Oh,
there.
Thank you.
And I hear you on that, Don. Yeah, people are, you gotta survive. Okay.
Right.
The hard part is that once you let the public know that you have those powers, for me, I would be scared to let the public know that I have those powers.
Okay, but
the government is going to come after you. People are going to want to take control of you for their own purpose.
I get the fact that, Dawn, like, you want to create income for security's sake. So say you achieved it with the superpowers of yours, you achieved that necessary security. Then what? Won't you be bored to death? I mean, you have all this power. Don't you want to start using it for something else?
See, that's the thing, though. I think most human beings just want to be happy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we all want to make enough money to pay our bills, maybe have a house, go on a trip occasionally. The American dream is a very simple one, made almost impossible by societal norms, partly the government. Like, I don't want for much, right? Like personally, right now, if I could just sit here in my office and draw comics all day long and somehow pay my bills magically, that's what I would do, right? That's what I want to do. I don't want to be president of the United States. I don't want to be a firefighter or a cop. I don't want to be in the military. Like, other folks can handle those jobs if they want to. They're not for me. Having superpowers would not change that. I would not want to be the savior of all mankind because I have superpowers. It's altruistic if you want to do that. I say more power to you if you're that person. I'm not. Like, just being honest. Like, I think most people wouldn't be either. Like, the idea of the comic book trope of, great power comes great responsibility. That's all sounds awesome. Not how real life works, though. Most people would not believe that for a second. And that's me being a realist. Like, okay.
No, I have to agree with you on that.
Like, Mog, would you want to be out there fighting criminals? You want to fight wars for the United States with your superpowers? Like, why?
No, I'll do something more sinister, but I'm not going to divulge that, publicly. But, yeah.
Right, exactly. And I think most people have sinister ideas with all those powers they have, like invisibility. Most men would be creepy voyeurs with that one.
Too tempting.
Exactly. I don't care who you are. You would turn straight perv with those powers, probably. And that's sad. That's the sad commentary on humankind, but like, that's the realistic thing, though, right? People just would do bad things with that power. Power to read minds. You would do bad things with that power.
Yeah, that's too tempting because the thought of that you can get away with it. And
exactly.
nobody's gonna know,
Yep.
It's too much of a temptation not to do it in that kind of a direction. Yeah.
I think punishment for doing things wrong are the only things that keep people from doing bad things now.
Yeah.
And imagine if you had powers where punishment meant nothing, then okay, you'd just be a complete jerk, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think because I had a discussion with another friend of mine, and they were saying like they had actual evidence of society that didn't have like the police, the law, and the jurisdiction like breathing down your neck. And then they didn't have to pay heavy taxes to the federal government or anything like that. They just had to live in communals and then support each other.
Yeah.
And those guys actually was much more peaceful than, yeah. And
but how big is that society, though?
I don't know, but there was another example was like when a crisis happens, like for example, Florida has those lot of what is that, hurricane?
Yeah.
Hurricane Katrina. And remember how even though despite we pay like millions of dollars on taxes and stuff, well, billions now, the government couldn't help. But what did the people do? All the people around just pitched in, and nobody told them to do it. So there is good in humanity.
There is, and that's going along with what Ilya is saying, that generally people are good natured. I think they are good natured when we can see that help is needed. But you're sitting at your kitchen table, and you have this power of invisibility. You got to be thinking, okay, well, what can I use this for? These thoughts enter your mind, and they may not be good thoughts, and you're thinking that you can get away with it. But yeah, sure, maybe that same person with that power sees a crisis that's going on and will want to help.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll want to do it discreetly, so that way people still don't notice that they have the power, or maybe they won't care. Right? But they are gonna. I do agree with you that they are gonna want to help because of the good nature that's in them, and we want to. We've seen that kindness happen.
But see, I think
in major events that we've had.
Okay, but look at it this way: you see it during a disaster.
Yeah.
But only, basically, literally, pretty much only during disaster. And until that disaster is over, then it goes away.
That's my point.
What happened to all the nationalism that happened after 9/11? Everybody's all pro-American. We love each other. That shit lasted like a year, 2 years max.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people like to help each other until it burdens them to do so.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. People don't want to, like, there are a lot of people out there, unfortunately, who are fine struggling as long as other people struggle more than they do. They're fine not helping as long as they don't have to struggle to do so. Because again, it's only in spurts. Where's all this help all the time? People need help all the time.
No.
There are disasters 24/7, but there are problems. There are problems all the time. The big disaster is like, oh no, the big disaster. But like homelessness, hunger, these are all going on right now. Where's the big outcry for that? Oh, it will require people having to suffer a little bit to help these people. Like California with homelessness. Everyone's like, not in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, well, everyone wants to get rid of homeless people off the street, but they don't want to spend the money, i.e. suffer with taxes or something, to pay for mental health care, for housing. Like, you're homeless for a number of reasons. Everything from losing your job to drugs to mental health to just not having family around to help you. Like, so, you have some politicians who want to put everybody in jail. Get out the street, put them in jail. Well, that's not helping anybody.
Yeah.
You're putting them into a worse situation. Once you go to jail, you're not getting out of jail. So, where's all that Katrina energy, right? Mm-hmm. To the homeless people that are in New Orleans right now.
Yeah.
Regular homeless people, not displaced by a major disaster. I mean, I believe you, and I agree with you in that humans have the ability to be good-natured and help each other. I just don't see it enough to say that it's their human nature.
I agree with you there. JD put in this quote from Pollyanna: "If you spend your days searching for evil in mankind, you will most surely find it, and you will find it very easily."
Yeah. No lies detected on that one.
Yeah, you don't have to look very far for that.
Nope.
Unfortunately,
and our history captures a lot of it. Yeah. And Ilya, where are you located at? I just want to make sure we don't get close to where you're at, so that way you don't steal Mog's artwork.
What?
We do appreciate the bid, and yes, it is $25 to ship to Canada. Once again, Mog's piece of the Ewoks has a bid of $100, and we are still waiting for an opening bid on Mr. Don Walker's Hellboy there. So if you care to bid on that, you still have a few minutes to do that.
Oh yeah, Don, do you like Hellboy?
I love Hellboy. More importantly, I love Mike Mignola. I've met him a couple times. He's actually done signings and Q&As at the Comic Bug in the past.
Yeah. And
him and his wife both are just super awesome people. And so like anything he does or is a part of, I will purchase and pick up whenever possible.
Okay.
Now Hellboy is just awesome in general, but like the fact that he's awesome too just helps.
Wow.
So do you have a collection of Hellboy statues?
I do not. Those are really expensive, and I'm not that kind of wealthy. So
yeah,
I would love to, but I have like a couple action figures from him from back in the day, like the '90s figures that came out. Yeah. I have some of those. I have all the movies on like Blu-ray, even the bad ones.
Hey Nick, I hope you're seeing that. Ilya's saying that you would go to your house to raid your collection of artwork with the apparel art that you have over there.
Oh my God.
And I'm pretty sure you have a lot more worthy pieces than that. If you guys have not seen Nick's show on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you are missing out. It's great to see because Nick doesn't just show you the art, the new art, right? But he's got art that goes pretty far back at times, and there's some really good pieces that he puts out, and they are cheap. He's selling pieces he's picked up below for what he got it for. And you got to think that this guy's gotten a deal. He's pretty well known in the industry, and I'm pretty sure they've got some scratch your back kind of deals going on there with Nick. Right? So be sure to check him out. Right? It's a fun show. We love being on there, and hopefully we'll be back on there again. Right? So, and when we kind of got an idea of the
that's dope.
pencilers that you like, Don. But who are some of the writers that you like?
Let's see. So, obviously Claremont, Byrne, modern day guys. Like, man, I don't read a whole lot of modern day stuff. I'm terrible with people's names when it comes to writers. Gosh, what is this? Well, Mark Waid was always somebody back in the 90s that I liked when he's doing his independent stuff was always great. I like Frank Miller's stuff a lot of times, not everything, but a lot of things that he writes and draws himself, I'm drawn to. Let's see, I'm looking around my office right now. What am I reading at the moment? Read a book called Three Keys at Image, Chroma at Image.
What did you think of Alan Moore?
I like Alan Moore stuff. Can't say I like all his stuff. And Alan Moore, of course, was Watchmen. So, I mean, I liked Watchmen. Okay,
good, but I did like V for Vendetta, and I did like the way how he handled the Swamp Thing.
So I didn't read those. Yeah, those are a little bit. Well, V for Vendetta was my time. I was not. I didn't read it back in the day. It's like I didn't read Watchmen the first time either. So like, I like Warren Ellis probably a little better than I like Alan Moore. But yeah, I don't know. Like again, most of the modern day stuff I'm reading mostly indie stuff. So Tom King, pretty good.
Miller's Presents with his new company that he has. Right now, he's got the Ancient Alien.
Oh,
yeah.
And then he's doing the sequel to his Ronin book.
Oh, okay.
Frank Miller did Ancient Alien?
Well, it's a new book that he's putting out through his
publishing
company.
It was a history
Right. Issue number 1 just came out either this week or last week. I think it was last week, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those books at the shop. I haven't actually bought any of those, though.
Oh, hey, so do you do a lot of Ancient Enemies?
Oh, Ancient Enemies, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you watch Ancient Aliens? Because you do a lot of alien stories, so. I
have watched those, a lot of those, actually. I think I had a big kick of those back in probably, I don't know, the 2018, 19 or so.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of that Ancient Alien stuff. There's some interesting ideas with those shows. Like, I can't sit here and go, they all make sense, but like, yeah.
Very good potential to do like a lot of what if sci-fi stories or anything like that.
It's amazing how a lot of movies have pulled stories from the information that's from that series.
Yeah.
Information that was provided even before that, but it's related.
Yeah.
It's kind of like interesting.
Yeah, and some of them actually are turning out to be correct, which is even more uncanny. So
I don't know if they're correct yet, but
well, what would you consider correct? I didn't hear receipts on that one.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to go there.
Let's not go there. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
That's dangerous ground.
Whole different show, right? Whole different show.
It's going to obsessions and conspiracies, and yes.
Stevie wrote, he says, I got my page from last Friday night's show where I almost paid more for the cardboard that the art was shipped in.
What the heck?
You got a deal.
That is hilarious, yo. Yeah.
And you're getting another deal on this Ewok here.
Who's winning right now?
Hey, was it Ilya? I think it's Ilya that does that. That's what we should rename this show, the Conspiracy Corner. Is that it? Conspiracy Corner with Mog and Mel.
There you go.
Oh man, that would get out.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Mel.
We'd probably
don't even do it.
Numbers
please.
would probably fly off if we did that.
Don't do it, Mel. I know you're tempted. Please.
Yeah. Tempting, but no. So we are up on the 2 hours here. Don, before we go, let us know where these guys can find you and how they can purchase your books for what you have available.
Okay, cool. They can go to dorkempireinc.bigcartel.com. All my books are there that are available. I have artwork for sale on there. You can see me. I'm on Instagram at Dawn_Space Night, which should be showing up on the screen there. I'm on Facebook under Don Walker. So I'll be posting art, posting books. I always tag where to get stuff, usually. And again, if you want to get I cannot talk all of a sudden. If you want to get Dreadlock the Barbarian 0, this weekend I will be at the Black Comics Creator Day in San Diego at the World Beat Center. That is Saturday and Sunday. Both days. Free event to public. Family, so bring your kids and grandmas and whatnot, and I'll be there selling books and artwork and all that good stuff. I do take commissions online. If you see me on Instagram, message me on Instagram, and we can talk about stuff there. Like I'm doing something very simple today, but like I do more. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to say the Eventbrite link to your to Black Comics Day is in the chat right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and for those who are into the conspiracy, our new conspiracy clubs, just want to let you know, in San Diego, they have it's a hotspot, okay? Wink, wink. Of UFO appearances. So just to see that, go to watch Don.
What Mom is referring to is that San Diego, because of the ships that they have there, that the Navy ships that they have there, is a hotbed for UFO sightings. Anyway, that's what she's referring. Anyway, so once again, Nick put in the comments here that he sold a piece of art for $27 that was valued at $400. So that's a kind of pricey. I'm telling you, if you want to get some good artwork, watch his show on Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, and I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. You're watching Mel and Mog on SketchUp on The Experience. Next week, we will have Fabrice Sapolsky, who puts out Square Comics and is the co-creator of Spider-Man Noir. Right? So I hope that you can join us then.
Fabrice is an awesome guy.
Yeah, Fabrice is very eccentric. I love him.
Yeah, he's super cool.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks again for joining us this Thursday.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
You too. All right, Don, and we'll see you very soon.
Yep.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks,